Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel. I still have a sore throat, but today we continue with the Charles Leclerc career mode. It is round 13 around the Hungaroring at Hungary, and we're gonna hop into some upgrades because I want to get more upgrades onto the car despite us being already the fastest car on the grid. We're gonna apply an extra upgrade, as you can see there, to the chassis department, and that has depleted our resource amount by quite a lot. So now we head into the workstation to get into practice to score those resource points back. And if we look at the overview, we're still in second place. We've got a new upgrade on the car, and it will also be a complete dry weekend. So let's head straight into practice. So then we arrive into practice, and as you guys know, we're gonna keep this very short. We have a little bit of an onboard because I really like this shot, but usually I only show you the results of the practice program, as I actually get let through by Yuki Tsunoda there, who was just coming out of the pits. So as you can see, we scored a perfect on the track acclimatization, we also scored a perfect on the race strategy, and we actually failed the qualifying practice program. So with that in the back of our heads, let's head into qualifying. So then we arrive in qualifying, and as usual in this series, our main goal is to get ahead of Max Verstappen, and if that is in P13 and we're in P12, then I will take it. So that is our only goal, and let's head into our first time lap of the session here. And I noticed out of these slow corners onto the straights, I was very slow compared to the AI, and I still think the AI has some ridiculous straight line speed and traction. So that really must be fixed by EA and Codemasters, or just EA, I don't know. But anyways, we get through the first corner, and as we skip to the end of the lap, we set a lap time of a 16.6, and it isn't too bad, but hopefully we can improve on it.
Time is a 1:15.8.
Because the provisional pole time is already 8 tenths quicker than we are. So we go for a second lap, we came into the pits for another set of soft tires, and hopefully we can improve this time round as we go into turn 1. We're already up on our delta. Unfortunately, going into the corner, we go down on it on the exit, but apparently we get better traction as we go back up on the delta. And if we skip to the third sector, you can see we're about half a second up on our delta. And with just a couple of corners to go, that is a massive improvement on our previous lap. And I didn't really realize there was so much time still left in that lap. As we come round the final corner, we're 6 tenths up. So let's see what the lap time will be. When we cross the line, it is a 16 flat. And that is good enough for P4, but I want more. I knew there was a little bit more time left in the lap. So we go out for a third time in the session. And hopefully we can improve once again. Maybe not by half a second, but definitely by a few tenths. So we start our last time lap of the session, and hopefully we can get onto the front row if we improve significantly. So let's see, going into turn 1, we improve straight away, not by much, but going through the first corner once again on the exit, we gain all the time. And if we skip forward to the end of sector 2, you can see we're up by almost 2 tenths now. And going through the next right-hander, that becomes 2.5 tenths, and onto this straight, we're gaining on the delta. Going into the next corner, we even go nearly 3 tenths up. Yes, we are nearly 3 tenths up, which is still a significant improvement over the last lap. As Max Verstappen sets a 15.6, we're not going to match that, unfortunately, but we are going to get very close to the final corner. We lose a bit of time. We were 3 tenths up, now it's 2.5. As we go to the line, where will this lap get us on the grid? It is P4, behind Max Verstappen, unfortunately, ahead of our teammate though, so still quite good. So let's head into the race.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of Formula One action. We don't expect too many retirements at this circuit. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here, in particular Ralf Schumacher, who made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Mr. Monaco, Carlos Sainz, and Perez. Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas. Gasly, Vettel, Yuki Tsunoda, and Albon. Magnussen, Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo, and Mick Schumacher. Joe and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So then once again, strategy is pretty default, just soft to mediums. We're going to pit on lap 7 and we can go straight to the formation lap where we'll be lining up onto the grid. Let's see, can we line up perfectly again? As long as we don't overshoot, I'll take it. So let's see. It is a decent lineup, and now we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's a very long hold, but it's lights out and away we go, and we get an absolute decent start once again. Compared to the cars around us, we are flying off the line. Max Verstappen and George Russell both going to the inside, we go to the outside, but there's Hamilton, and we touch with Hamilton, and we have a massive moment going into turn 1. We go way too wide, we rejoin onto the track alongside Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, and now we are going 3 wide into the next corner. Who will come out ahead of the 3 of us? Let's see. It looks like we're edging ahead of Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, and round the outside of the next corner we get into 4th place, or we stay in 4th place I should say. And now we've got Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz right behind us, but we've managed to stay ahead in that 3 wide moment, and that was absolutely epic. Now we move on to the end of lap 1, start of lap 2. George Russell leads the race for now, and it looks like we've got a decent gap behind as Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz are battling, and into turn 1 they nearly run into the back of me, but thankfully no contact was made and we can carry on with our race. And as we now go onto lap 6, Carlos Sainz nor Sergio Perez have been able to challenge me. Carlos Sainz did get ahead of Sergio Perez though, and it looks like the Spaniard has found some decent pace as he's been catching up to us over the past couple of laps. And going into this next corner now, we go very wide. That is going to give Carlos Sainz the opportunity to go up the inside, but no, he makes contact with us. We nearly spin, but we managed to keep the car in a straight line. And now going into the chicane, Carlos Sainz is going to force us off the track, and we rejoin ahead of the Spaniard, but no illegal overtake by the game, so we'll stay ahead for now. But that was not an ideal moment going wide, and then Carlos Sainz going up the inside, making contact. That is breaking one of the golden rules, making contact with her teammate. That's a no-go. But now at the end of lap 7 we go into the pits. We're gonna box for a set of medium tires. Verstappen and Hamilton also into the pits together with us. So let's see, going into the pits we don't speed, and we should be able to time this pit stop correctly once again. Just aim between 0.3 and 0.4 seconds and it will always be purple. As you can see, optimal turn in, and we go onto a set of medium tires. But once again, just like last time round, we get held up in the pits and we lose some valuable seconds to the leaders up front, and that means the cars behind will also be closer. So once again, not ideal, but I don't think there's anything I can do about it, because we're just so far at the front of the pit lane that it's almost inevitable that we get held up if everyone comes in at the same lap. Anyways, we rejoin back onto the track, and Fernando Alonso straight away very close behind us. He nearly made a mistake. Luckily Fernando wasn't close enough to overtake. But now onto lap 9, everyone else comes into the pits, and let's see where we are when they all rejoin back onto the track. There's Lando Norris, and we're going to brake very late, and we're going to go round the outside of a McLaren driver, and that was crucial, because if we got stuck behind Lando Norris we would have definitely lost out to Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. But now thankfully we're still ahead of Lando Norris, but we are behind Perez and Sainz. So we have lost out because we were ahead of these two when we came into the pits, and they are now on cold tires, so we have to capitalize on this moment and see if we can overtake either of them. But going onto the end of that same lap, we haven't been able to make an overtake just yet. And onto the main straight, Carlos Sainz is going to pass Sergio Perez, and we're just having to sit behind. There's nothing we can really do. As they go side by side into turn 1, Carlos Sainz edges ahead and he cuts off Sergio Perez, who now gets a shocker of an exit, and we make contact. And let's see, going into the next corner, can we make a move with the DRS wide open? Yes we can. We go on the inside. Sergio Perez leaves us pretty much no space, gives us floor damage as well, but we edge ahead and we're now up into P5, but we have major floor damage, and that means we won't be able to keep up with Carlos Sainz. So now onto lap 15, Carlos Sainz has caught up to George Russell, who had some car issues according to Mark over the radio. And there goes Carlos Sainz down the inside, going into turn 1. He gets past before the braking zone. He slots back in front of George Russell, and that's our teammate in P3. And whilst this was happening, we look behind, we see Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso, who've been battling it out for the past couple of laps, going side by side into turn 1 as well. But Sergio Perez keeps the position despite being on a harder compound of tires, and if they keep battling like this, they won't be able to close up to me. But they didn't keep battling. Instead, Sergio Perez picked up the pace and is closing the gap to us at the end of lap 17 with just over a lap to go. Sergio Perez is very close behind. The gap is only like 2.5 tenths. So we're going to have to defend from the Minister of Defense himself, the Mexican Sergio Perez, who deployed some amazing defense tactics in Abu Dhabi 2021, is now right behind us and is looking very quick. So onto the main straight, let's see what we can do. We have no DRS. Sergio Perez does have the DRS. We deploy the entirety of our battery. Here comes Sergio Perez into turn 1. It doesn't look like he'll be close enough unless he does a crazy dive bomb. We cut them off into turn 1 and we stay ahead for now. And it doesn't look like Sergio Perez is able to get it on the exit of turn 1, despite there being a second DRS zone here. And into the next corner we stay ahead, and it looks like we'll be staying ahead for the rest of the race because Max Verstappen actually wins the race on rival. And we're going to come round the final corner, and it's looking like we are going to score a P5. Sergio Perez not able to overtake. We have a massive train behind because of the floor damage, and I'm not happy with that result.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
Unfortunately, it is what it is. We lose out to Max Verstappen in the rivalry. It looks like we are just 1 point behind though, so that is still quite alright. And yeah, P5, Max Verstappen with the win. That means we lose out 15 points on Max Verstappen, and that is not ideal in the slightest. Anyways guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, leave a comment as well, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye.